Good evening. I'd like to welcome all of you to the proceedings of the Grand Rapids Public Schools Board of Education. It is Monday, November 6th. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Schottky is out of town, and Dr. Baker is in her stead as secretary. Dr. Baker?
Actually, I heard that the vice president was going to act as secretary. People evidently know better than to turn that job over to me.
Oh, I'm so relieved. Mr. Ross, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Slade. Dr. Baker.
Here.
Dr. Flores.
Present.
Ms. Grant.
Here.
Ms. Lewis.
Here.
Reverend Matias.
Here.
Mr. Ross, yes. Ms. Schottky, absent. And President Falk.
Yes, present.
We do have a quorum with 8.
Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda as written?
So moved.
Support for that?
Support.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda stands. Next, we have celebration.
Thank you, Dr. Falk and members of the board. I'd like to ask John Hemholt to come forward for 2 presentations.
Hey, I got the agenda right
Thank you,
here.
thank you, John Hemholt.
All right. Madam Superintendent, President Fall, members of the board, it's a pleasure to be here tonight to share some additional celebrations. Unfortunately, our good friend Stephanie Adams had a child care issue at home, so she was not able to join us. She does send her regrets, but wanted to really showcase some of the work here. And if I could ask whoever's dimming the lights, if you can all get it, I don't know if you've had a chance to go on. Sigsbee Park used to have this map of the United States that was, I wish I had a before picture, but it was completely faded. I think it failed to include Hawaii and Alaska, and it was really a drab site. And you might recall when we worked with Student Advancement Foundation, ELNC, Lake Michigan Credit Union, the MEDC, and did that kind of matching grant where we renovated the playground. One of the additional projects that we did shortly after, we were going to try to do it in advance of the playground build, but the weather didn't cooperate. So a team of volunteers from Easttown Community Association got together, and this is just an example of that work. If you get a chance, we encourage you to go check it out. Additional celebrations with Friends of Grand Rapids Parks is we planted nearly 40 trees as part of the mayor's tree canopy initiative. You might recall both the superintendent and the mayor in their state of the school, state of the city speeches talked about a joint commitment to helping to improve the tree canopy. And so in addition to beautification at our site, our school parks, we're also planting trees and improving that tree canopy. And it's just, we wanted to draw attention to the partnership as very unique with Friends of Grand Rapids Parks, and just give them a big round of thanks.
Very nice.
Lights. All right, now I'm going to ask Meredith Gemmel and Jamie Allen to come up and join us. There was Spartan Nash, and many of you may know that we've had a long-standing partnership with Spartan that's been pretty low-key. They've kind of kept it pretty low-key, and just recently we had an opportunity to meet and to talk about what more can be done. How can we take that and focus it on more schools? And so we're pleased to share a substantial contribution that's going to be split between a number of schools. And with us here is Meredith and Jamie to tell us a little bit more.
So first of all, I'd just like to thank you for all of the great work that you do representing the students throughout our community and their families as well. We are very privileged to be a part of the community, and as such, part of our corporate responsibility is really to look at ways in which we can help foster better relationships in our communities and also help youth development and education and literacy and the like. And so for over 20 years, Spartan Nash, and formerly Spartan Stores, was partnering with Sibley, and this past year Jamie and I got together and really talked over the relationship and said, you know, what can we do to expand that and really do more for the schools? And so she met with pretty much every one of the principals, and we've developed a process where now we are granting $2,000 to each of the following schools: Brookside, Kennesaw, Sherwood, Palmer, Cesar Chavez, Sibley, and Kent Hills Elementary, to help reward some of the positive behaviors and attendance records and things with some parties and celebration. Fun and celebration is one of our core values, and we want to share that along with the students in the Grand Rapids Public Schools. And in addition, we also recognize the importance of having holiday times, so there will be a donation of turkeys to the schools. I think what we're going to do, 2 different donations, 50 turkeys to each school, and more to continue our partnership with Sibley. And then last but not least, our company has a challenge regarding volunteer hours, 30,000 hours this year. And so we are looking for opportunities in which our associates can come and whether service and mentor and partner. And that's really how this all began way back in the beginning with Sibley through the United Way. So we just really want to thank you very much for what you're doing and continue to stand by and support you in any which way we can. We thank John very much for his support in the Double Up Food Bucks program through our family fare stores in Value Lands over in the Lansing area. We're the only major grocery retail chain who has gotten behind the Double Up Food Bucks program to help encourage and provide affordable fruits and vegetables for families who have food challenges and financial struggles. So program's going well, and we appreciate the public schools' support in letting people know about the program, because it's a little bit of a challenge in terms of how you reach out. So thank you for all that you do, and with that, we're just privileged to present $14,000 to the Grand Rapids Public Schools.
Pretty awesome.
And we're going to leave this fun oversized check so that, if it wants to travel around the schools, when Jamie's setting up the parties with the schools, they might have fun with
Dr.
that.
Baker has some.
Well, I just want to note that everybody knows the contributions of another running club member, Dale Robertson, as the Grand Rapids Public Schools, but Jamie's also a running club member. So running for GRPS. So anyway, thanks. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's what you were shouting to me for the photo.
We pre-did that.
Good. Didn't need me.
We'll give that to you.
There you go.
All right.
Next on our agenda is the student representatives. Ms. Happney.
Hi. So for the last 2 weeks, I had gathered out a lot of good news that's been going around Union. One of them is on Thursday, we had a distracted drivers event, which it was an event of an accident that 6 agencies gathered together, including GRPD and Grand Rapids Fire Department, and it was sponsored by Mercy Health. It's basically 150 juniors were at the event, and 5 of them were actors, and we were just explaining to them about safety and driving while phone or impaired. Another great event is we celebrated 193 9th and 10th graders who had 95% attendance or better. One last one I wanted to include is the college application month ended just last week, and Union sent 452 transcripts to college and universities based on applications.
Awesome. Great. Very happy. So, trying to remember, I saw that you are winning an award. Is it the tribute award? Was it the student tribute award? Is that it?
Yes, it is.
That's a huge award, and I saw that on there, and you were so modest, you didn't mention it, but that's happening on Wednesday. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's great. Mr. Centennial is not here tonight, so we're moving on to public comment for board agenda items. Do we have any, Mr. Ross?
No.
Okay. Secretary's report.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. We do have a couple of announcements. Next Tuesday, November 14th, just a reminder for those on the Ad Hoc Policy Committee meeting that there's a meeting scheduled next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Also, just other information, GRPS Parent Talk is an opportunity to learn more about the law, its requirements, and what the district has been doing around particularly 3rd grade reading. and what parents and guardians can do to help their child with reading. So we really hope to see parents, particularly those parents who have third-grade readers or soon-to-be third-grade readers, to come out to one of the following. On Tuesday, November 7th, which is tomorrow, at Gerald R. Ford Academic Center, or Thursday, November 9th, at Cesar E. Chavez Elementary, or Tuesday, the 14th, at Aberdeen School, Thursday, the 16th, at Harrison, and all of these meetings will take place from 6 to 7 p.m. There will be free dinner and child care, and parents are welcome to attend any and all of those 4 dates. Again, I'm assuming those should be on the web for information, Superintendent?
If not, we can put them out.
And that is all I have for the Secretary's report.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Committee chair updates, Finance Committee, Dr. Baker.
Not much report. We did have our audit meeting that everybody was at, and everything was positive that. And also, we will be looking to January budget amendment, which shows, hopefully, continue to show some better budget numbers than we were anticipating. So that's all.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Falb. I would like to ask Dr. Ron Gorman to come forward. John, look at your agenda.
You're never going to live it down.
A little jumpy. So, good evening, Superintendent Weatherall Neal, Dr. Falb, distinguished members of our Board of Education. You may have read this week that we had a celebration as it relates to the Michigan Department of Education's priority schools list. Just a little refresher, the MDE's priority schools list is all of the schools that fall in the lowest 5% of all schools in the state of Michigan. Schools are placed on this list because of poor achievement, achievement gaps, and dramatic declines in student performance. I'm pleased to announce this evening that 2 more Grand Rapids public schools have been removed from the Michigan Department of Education priority schools list. And please keep in mind that 6 schools were removed last year. This year's schools that have been removed from the priority schools list are Dickinson, led by Principal Nikki Schellenberg, and Coit Creative Arts Academy, led by Principal Jason McGee. Last year, Coit made tremendous strides on the M-STEP assessment, improving in 3 of 4 content areas, and Dickinson improved in 4 of 4 content areas. So please join me in giving a round of applause to... On Tuesday, the Michigan Department of Education officials announced that 3 traditional school districts in the state and 4 charter school districts in the state will be joining the 37 schools and 9 districts that have joined into partnership agreements. The Grand Rapids Public Schools will not have to enter into such agreements with the state of Michigan.
That's awesome.
So a big shout out to those
Nice.
principals, those teachers, parents, and students for doing this. And if you have any questions, I will answer them at this time.
Great. This is
And their
really,
leader.
really fantastic news, yes.
Thank you.
Good. John Himholt, please.
So 2 things to really report out. One was just the overall success of our Puerto Rico Rises campaign. You know, this was something that after the hurricane, the superintendent with our cabinet said, what are we going to do to really rally around our families? How do we support those friends and families who were devastated by the hurricane, and also really demonstrate to our families and our students how they are part of a GRPS family, that we rally, we unite behind our students, our parents, our staff, all of our stakeholders when times get tough. And so with it less than a week's notice, we launched a week-long donation drive that in the end, we have 22 pallets wrapped and ready to ship with all sorts of items from food to clothing to diapers and water filters and everything you can imagine. So we're just really fortunate to have had such generosity coming from all 53 schools, as well as the Franklin campus, service department, and the city of Grand Rapids we partnered with as well. But I just think it's really important. GRPS took the lead. Our families, our staff stepped up, and now we have individuals. We'll be shipping these 22 pallets down to Puerto Rico. We actually had a relative who had heard about the drive, and she called. I wish Kyle had saved the message, but it was a grandmother who had called and was crying and just profusely thanking the district for coming out. So I think we made a real positive impact, and that's it. So the second item is shifting to the non-homestead. Just a reminder, tomorrow is Election Day, November 7th. We have the non-homestead millage renewal. Again, this is a renewal. It's not a new tax. This is not a tax increase. This is not a tax on homeowners. This is a tax that's really left over from Proposal A when they maintained a non-homestead property tax, which is industrial, commercial, and other non-homestead properties. So this, for those who may be in renting, they should not see any impact on their rent. This should all be built in over the course of the last 20 years. But we just want to remind everyone, this is a very important vote. Nearly 1/3 of our state funding comes from this millage. That's $30 million. If this was to fail, there are very few things that could be done other than going back to the old days of closing schools, district-wide layoffs, massive cuts. And so we've been doing an informational campaign. There has been a Yes for Kids. I know that more than 200 people were out over the last 2 weeks knocking doors. So we're not going to take anything for granted. We are partnering with our friends at Grand Rapids Public Library, where there'll be an election night event at City Built tomorrow, starting at 8 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Himbo.
We have one action item on the agenda, that is approval of the purchasing agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Support. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Ross, please take the vote.
Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Baker,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
Yes.
Ms. Grant,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
Reverend Matias,
Yes.
Mr. Ross, yes. Ms. Shockey, excused. President Faulk.
Yes.
Purchasing agenda motion passes 8-0.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda grouping. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Support for that?
Support.
Please take the vote, Mr. Ross.
Ms. Slade,
Yes.
Dr. Baker,
Yes.
Dr. Flores,
Yes.
Ms. Grant,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, Reverend Matias,
Yes.
Mr. Ross, yes. Ms. Shockey, excused. President Faulk.
Yes.
Consent agenda passes 8-0.
We have no discussion items. Do we have public comment for non-agenda item?
We do have one public comment, Mr. Ryan Greenwis, I believe. Excuse me if I mispronounced.
Yeah, come on down. Do you have a card?
No, but I can do everything you need me to do.
So is there just one of you?
Just
giving-
one of me speaking.
Okay, awesome. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
And Mr. Ross will
I'm gonna hold up this.
show
red
you a
after
card
one.
when you've got a minute left.
I shouldn't need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We are an Environmental Action Committee from Grand Valley State University. I'm a parent of GRPS students. We're here today to ask you about Meatless Monday in the cafeterias. We had plenty of stats for you, all the cows whose lives would be saved, chickens and pigs, all the heart disease that would be lessened, and the good habits that would be set in the students. We're going to skip that. We already talked with Erin Webley at Nutrition Services, and she explained to us that there's already efforts underway, a partnership with the Humane Society, and we're looking at options, and there's a logistical nightmare of implementing a Meatless Monday. She said one thing that could be done, however, is an education campaign to tell students about the possibilities, the ecological benefits, the health benefits of choosing one day a week to not eat meat, and making those meatless options available to them in the cafeteria, while at the same time having meat options available for those who want to have it. There's going to be too much parental pushback, too much community pushback if we try to go meatless in the cafeterias, and we understand that. She said our next step is to ask you if we can include posters in the cafeterias to inform students and allow them to make those choices in the cafeteria and at home. And that's what we're here to ask you for today, is to approve that for GRPS NS. And we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent's comments.
No comment.
Dr. Baker?
No comment except we absolutely need people to support this renewal tomorrow. That's all.
Same. I just hope that everyone here talks to someone, takes someone to the polls with them tomorrow. Our local elections are the ones that really affect us the most. Thanks.
Mr. Ross?
Just another congratulations to the hard work that Dr. Gorman referenced in regards to some school improvement issues, so definitely excited about that. Again, a reminder about the vote tomorrow and underscoring the importance, and again, that this is not necessarily to do anything additional, just again to at least continue to do what we're doing, so underscoring that importance that Mr. Himmelhoff mentioned, and again, just congratulations to our student rep, and great report, great work on your part, and I'm going to claim you even though I don't know you. That's my baby.
Dr. Flores?
Well, it's certainly ditto to everything that's been said in our progress toward achieving at a higher level and for individual accomplishments, Ms. Abdi. But I'd like to take a moment to underscore the fact that it is Native American Heritage Month this month, and to reflect on the passing of a very important figure in our history, Dennis Banks, who passed away on the 29th. Dennis is a personal friend, a writer in our organization for Lavos, and a civil rights leader. He stood up where others failed to do so on behalf of Native Americans in this country. He is the founder of the American Indian Movement, an actor, a writer, an activist, a peppered past for standing up for those issues, including time incarcerated for those things that he believed were important in advancing the cause of equality and justice for Native Americans. And as we celebrate this month, I think that it's important for this body to recognize that a while back we made some cuts to the Native American program in its leadership, and today I question who is in charge of setting the tone and the direction for our district in embracing and advancing that equity here locally in our school district. I continue to have those concerns and express those in the spirit of Dennis Banks, who also stood before this board a few years back and advocated for improved treatment and services to the Native American community. Thank you.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes, congratulations to our special board member over there, and I second all of the things that the others have said, but I would like to say something again about the Student Advancement Foundation. I did not know this, but they have this program for girls, and once a month, and the girls can sign up for free, and they just hope other people will donate. But it's really to just challenge girls who are not necessarily in sports or anything like this. So my granddaughter, who is a swimmer and will be swimming, but she is also taking kickboxing. So they'd never have this stuff without the Student Advancement Foundation. So once again, I just, she'll be doing spinning class in December. I just think it's so great to introduce young women to these kinds of opportunities. So thank you for doing those things.
No comment.
Member Matias?
Just want to thank Superintendent Neal for reaching out to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico Rises, have a lot of family there. It's going to be a long haul for Puerto Rico getting back on its feet. And so I know that, hopefully we're going to be challenged to do cycles of help. And this is a great first start. It's really exciting when schools and principals, parents, students, boards work together, and then we see something like our schools performing and getting out of the red, so to speak. Very exciting to see all of the hands on deck and folks working. So really appreciate that effort. So thank you.
I just want to encourage parents to take advantage of the work district is doing to inform parents on the grade level reading legislation and how it's going to impact them. I think it's very important for parents. They're the best advocate for their child to understand how they can support their child.
I got to do a plug for the musical, Fiddler on the Roof. I hear they have a great fiddler at the Fiddler on the Roof. And please get out and vote tomorrow. So, meeting adjourned.